Hey guys, it's Yanni and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to start a series called Between the Pages. In this series, I'm going to be talking about my current reads, my future reads, and just the books and the characters that I am obsessed with. Between the page, we are going to check out every single detail. Currently, it is February 2026, and so far I have read quite a handful of books, and some of them I really want to talk about, so we're going to talk about it. Majority of the books that I read are typically on my Kindle. It's really easy to read on there. I can read hundreds of pages without even batting an eye. I bring my Kindle everywhere. I'm obsessed with it. Yes. One of the books that I've been dying to talk about is Bunny by Mona Awad. This book completely threw me for a loop. I would say in the best way possible, but it was definitely unexpected. I picked this up as a blind read and soon fell in love with it. And then I was terrified because I did not know that this book was underneath the horror genre. I was about, I would say, 40% through the book when I realized that it was getting a little scary. The premise of this book is it's about a group of girls who go to a prestigious college and they are being observed by our main character. The main character then gets invited into their group, and that's when things get a little bit rocky, a little bit scary. The girls, they are known for calling each other Bunny, and they seem to be a really tight-knit group of girls that are best friends, but they act a little bit peculiar. They seem to almost be obsessed with each other, and this really intrigues our main character a lot. What we do learn throughout this book is that she is quite an unreliable narrator. The end really threw me for a twist, but I will say that throughout the book, I spent a lot of time confused, mostly because there were so many twists and turns, a lot of unexpected things happening. You are jumping between reality and, honestly, her imagination. We do not know what is real. In the end, I was really trying to figure out what the message was, but I will say that this book does a really good job of portraying what it's like being a new girl, being someone who is trying to fit in, trying to find their friends, their crowd, and navigating different seasons of your life, navigating your own emotions, and where you seem to think you fit in the world. I rated this book 3 stars. I will say that if you are really into like a thriller, horror vibe, suspenseful, this is a really good read. I believe that the characters were painted really, really well. I love the way that the author brought the story to life, and the message that she told, I feel a lot of people could relate to and maybe even learn from. It was pretty nice. Another thriller book that I picked up and read is Ward D by Freida McFadden. This one had been on my TBR for quite a while, and I honestly didn't think about it until I saw a physical copy and just decided to randomly grab it. I will say one thing I do love about Freida McFadden is the fact that all of her books are pretty fast-paced. It doesn't really take a lot of mental work or thinking to get through them, and I absolutely love that about her writing. Whenever I feel like I'm in a reading slump or have no idea what to pick up next, I grab one of her books and I get right back to it. She gets me every single time. When I tell you, I always think I know what the ending is gonna be, and she gets me every single time. I love her books. Freida McFadden, one of my favorite authors. I will say I haven't read many of her newer books. However, I love The Housemaid. I read all 4 of those books within like a month, I kid you not. And then I went to go see the movie, absolutely loved it. This book is about a young student. I see that that's the theme here, which I found it really funny because I read this book after I picked up Bunny. They were really similar in regards to the characters. This main character, she is a medical student and she has to spend a night in Ward D for one of her assignments. And She has a bit of history with the place, which you find out is very, very interesting. And as the night goes on, you just feel this trepidation. There are times where I was reading this book and I got chills because I was so creeped out. But it's really nice because it moves at a good pace. The thing about this book was, I felt like I was trapped in the ward with her. I was like, I'm ready to clock out. Like that was me. Half this book, I said, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go. Again, we realized that this narrator is quite unreliable. And I would say in the best way possible, because that completely helps with the plot, the twist, everything. And at the end, my jaw dropped to the floor. I just couldn't believe it. It was like everything I thought that I read and I knew, thrown out the window. Love, love, loved it. I will rate this one, I'll say 3.75. Really liked it. I will continue to read Freida McFadden's books. I love all of them. They're amazing. I do have some honorable mentions that I do not have a physical copy of, but books that I read this year that I do enjoy. The Cruel Prince series by Holly Black. Absolutely obsessed with this story. I do like a good YA book. The Cruel Prince is such a fun story to read. I like the way that the author decided to build the world, the characters that she introduced us to, and let's not talk about the fan art. I'm gonna add the fan art. The fan art, you guys. This is the best fan art I've ever seen. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And there was no point in the story to where I didn't enjoy what I was reading. I read The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing. And I read those back to back. One thing about me, whenever I start a series, I just have to finish the series. I can't read multiple books at once. I'll read one book and it'll take me maybe like 3-4 days, and then I'll just be right on to the next book. I will say that I probably read at a medium pace, so I get through these fairly quickly. I like to read with the audiobook as well, so I'll have a copy of it on my Kindle, and then I will also be listening to the audiobook just to get that full experience. It's amazing. The entire series, I would rate it 4.5. There was a point in the last book to where I didn't really enjoy the plot as much, but I just don't know how I will ever recover from Carden and Jude. Absolutely love them. One of my favorite couples. Our girl Jude, she has a little bit of an anger problem. That's okay, that's okay. She can work on it. But yeah, the premise of the book is we are in a magical fairy land, literally called Fairy, and there are two human sisters by the name of Jude and Taryn who are living in this fairy land. They do have a mortal realm, but they are growing up here and, you know, they're basically getting bullied because they're human beings, and they kind of have to learn how to navigate all the twists and turns of this place. And of course, there's a cruel prince who picks on them, but as we learn his story, we learn why he is the way he is. It just goes from there. It's really fast, and I feel like it is easy to keep up with. Love these books. I would recommend it. Yeah. A honorable mention would be the ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas. I read it late 2025 and I finished the entire series within a month and a half maybe. Absolutely in love with it. I finished A Court of Silver Flames at the beginning of January, and that book, oh my goodness, that book was so good. I was so obsessed with the writing. I love the way that the author built the worlds. I love how she turned characters that seemed unlovable, lovable. It was just everything. Like that series, I read Fourth Wing and that really got me into my fantasy era. ACOTAR was the first series that I read that I genuinely was so heartbroken whenever a character died, whenever they were going to war, whenever anything happened, I felt that completely. And also it was the first series that I read where I was genuinely sad that I could not enter this world. I wanted to physically go to Valaris. If you know, you know. I rate the entire series 6 stars. Court of Silver Flames, 5 stars. The very end of that book, I was bawling my eyes out. I was in tears. It's so good. I can't wait to read it again in the future because I know for a fact I will be reading it again. We are waiting for ACOTAR 6 to come out, and I just need the author to give us Asriel's story. I just can't wait. Now I'm gonna talk about some of the books that I decided to DNF. I wanna say that these are pretty cut and dry. When I rate these books, I rate it off of vibes, okay? So if I don't like it, either I don't like the vibe, I don't like the characters. Yeah, honestly, it's that simple. Typically the books that I read, I pick them up and I finish them pretty quickly, and I do typically like the books that are either recommended to me or that I just happen to pick up. But you know, Book Talk is very influential, so if I see it on Book Talk, yeah, I might just get it. This first one might be a little bit controversial because I know a lot of people love it, but Caraval. Personally, when I was reading the book, I didn't love it. And I understand that it's very whimsical, it's a magical carnival land, but I was just genuinely terrified the entire time I was reading it. I never knew what was going on. I'm thinking that maybe in the future I will try to read it again to see if I enjoy it, because I do plan on reading other books by Stephanie Garber, who is the author of Caraval, such as Once Upon a Broken Heart. I actually have that on my TBR and I plan on reading that fairly soon. So I do look forward to that, and I know that some of the characters that are in Caraval are also in her other series as well. Another one that I decided to DNF this year is Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. This book, I want to say that I was really drawn to the book because I read the King series, not the full series, but I read the King of Wrath, and I really did enjoy Dante and Vivian's story. And I will say that I liked all the side characters. I liked the friendships that they had in the book. And I really was looking forward to reading Twisted Lies because I really enjoyed Christian in that King of Wrath book. However, his personality was not what I thought it was. And frankly, I just couldn't finish it. I don't know. I feel like the romance between him and Stella was just not my favorite, and that's okay. I mean, I don't always have to like the dynamics. I still enjoy Anna Huang as a writer, but I will say that, you know, whenever she does finish the rest of the series, I most likely will be reading it. I just did not enjoy that particular book. The last book that I did not finish this year specifically was God of Malice by Rena Kent. I decided to pick this up as a blind read, and I just kept on seeing things about it on TikTok, and maybe that was my fault, but maybe that was my fault. As I was reading the book, I quickly realized that this was a dark romance, and we like a morally gray character sometimes, but this character, morally black and terrifying at that. I just didn't really enjoy reading about, you know, someone getting assaulted. In the book, he kidnaps her at a certain point and is just forcing her to be with him. Personally, that's not the type of love story that I want to read. I like sweet and caring and romantic men. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. If you like this type of book content, good for you. I don't believe that I will be picking up a Rena Kent book. There are plenty of books that I read that are nonfiction. I do love a good nonfiction book. Honestly, any genre, I don't discriminate. However, you probably won't catch me reading horror simply because I get terrified pretty easily, so. I'm just gonna shout out some of my nonfiction reads that I loved. Honestly, anything by John C Maxwell, love it. He's an amazing author. His books have significantly changed my life. Just the way that I look at the world. I absolutely love his writing, and yeah, he's amazing. Specifically for him, Thinking for a Change absolutely changed my mindset. Failing forward with, you know, your personal goals. This really helped me hone in on, not looking at failure as an end-all be-all, but rather using that failure to either learn or just change my strategy and try again. Honestly, he encourages failing in this book because, it's inevitable. If you're gonna fail anyway, might as well fail great and get back up and keep going. I really feel like this specifically relates to my journey here on YouTube and social media. There's plenty of times where I tried and decided to quit, and I found something that I'm really passionate about. Here I am trying again. You can apply it to any aspect of your life, whether it's your health, if you're learning something, if you're a parent. Honestly, I would say this book is for all audiences, and I highly, highly recommended it. It is 5 stars. Grit by Angela Duckworth. Another life-changing book. I read the book and then proceeded to watch her TED Talk. Amazing TED Talk, amazing speaker. I love her insight. She makes the point of finding ways to persevere. The people that have grit are the ones who succeed in life. Another 5-star read. I did get through it pretty quickly, and I would just recommend it to anyone who would be interested in growing and learning more. I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of what I'm currently reading, what I like. If you guys would like to keep up with what I'm reading, or if you would like to create a book club, I am currently using Fable. I'm just gonna plug it right here. So come find me, talk to me, message me. Let me know what you're reading, what you're thinking about, and what you like. I want to know. And also, I do have a TikTok. If you guys want to follow me on TikTok, I'm going to be posting more book content, lifestyle content, pretty much the same as on here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and if all else, you guys can find my email in my bio. So if you want to email me and talk to me about any book questions, or honestly want to get more insight on anything that I talked about today, please feel free to hit me up. I'll see you next time.